to Run4Ben Podcast. My name is Jamen Spitzer. My role in this whole thing was to pick up a camera and document things as I ran. And I'll throw it over to the other man that you see on this screen right now, my friend Mike.
Yes, I was the guy telling him what to point the camera at. I'm Mike Piccirillo. I am the director of the documentary Run4Ben. And Jamen and I have been friends for a long time, and we were creative partners, and we decided to create, at the time, a very small documentary. And it's been quite a journey, and we are now rolling it out in a way that I feel everybody is going to want to see it on YouTube as a podcast, and it's going to be a great interactive experience for everyone. And the story is awesome, and Jamen and his family were very generous, and Ben as well, with being open and telling their story about Parkinson's and dealing with that, and the very many things that come with that experience.
Yeah. And so this is episode 0 here, Mike. This is where we're essentially rolling out and talking about what you can expect from the podcast, the YouTube videos, what you might see on social media, and of course online. As we said, it starts off, this is, at its core was and is, I guess, a documentary about running. I ran the Detroit Free Press Marathon for the first time in 2020. For the Kirk Gibson Foundation for Parkinson's. They were a charity partner. I had only run a half marathon up until then, but I got sober in 2019, and about 10 months into my sobriety, the pandemic hit. And I really took up running a whole lot more just for my sobriety. And then again, found that I could run the marathon for charity while connecting with my dad. Episode 0 will introduce, why we started this. And then, again, this was meant to be just a 7 to 10 minute. That was our first conversation. Mike, do you remember that?
I do.
I was on the porch in Los Angeles, and,
yep.
We were, writing working on a screenplay that dealt with, kind of a similar type of story, but in a more fictional manner. And I said, hey, I'm doing this marathon, and why don't we just do some little 7 to 10 minute. It was literally just an exercise in creativity during the pandemic to throw up something very quick. And then that was in 2020. We're recording today. It is 2026. So we're going to discuss why we're choosing the podcast format, why we think this works the best, and what you might be able, a little bit about us and what you can expect to see, and really what went from a running documentary, a little father-son thing, into much more about what it's what is like in changing relationships and in trying to be honest, open, and vulnerable with the people that we love, how precious time is in really asking some of the questions and digging as deep as we did, not only with my dad, Ben Spitzer, but, with my entire family and friends and those people who came along with us. So that's really what this initial podcast hopefully brings you along into that journey. For those who've been along the journey a while, you've been waiting for this. For those who might be seeing this for the first time, that's kind of a little bit what we've been doing and what you can expect to see and hear.
Yes. A little bit about myself. I'm from New Jersey. I currently live in Santa Clarita, California. I moved out here in the mid-90s with a film studies degree to become a filmmaker. And I got into the industry through the crew way and did a bunch of stuff over the last almost 25, 30 years. And I've worked on big stuff, small stuff, everything in between. And then all of that came to a close. I was even making my own stuff. I was making shorts. I was making films. And it all came to a halt in 2020. And that, I think, also was the impetus to make this little video, because it was just like, okay, something creative to keep the juices flowing. And, and then it's like, well, wait, what if we keep going and keep doing? And then that open-ended sentence lasted, till now.
Yeah. And my background, I grew up in Michigan. I'm in Michigan now, but I was in Los Angeles for 7 years. I got into comedy with Second City in Detroit, then worked with a managing director at Planet Ant Theater prior to moving out to Los Angeles at that time with my girlfriend, now wife. And I'm back in Michigan, and actually came back to Michigan to be with my father. Mike and I met at Some Assembly Required when I was in Los Angeles. And Some Assembly Required, not to get too deep into that, but it was a bunch of creatives making film and some live theater type of things. We met in that and really, hit it off doing some things there. And that's what got us to that screenplay, and then eventually got us to here. And to get back to, I guess, Run4Ben, as we were creating this, like Mike said, was kind of that, you said that was that creative outlet. What we started doing was, that 7 to 10 minute thing, but realized it couldn't be wrapped up really that neatly in just that one episode. And, much like marathons, you say, I'm going to run one, and then that grows. And then I was like, let's do another one. And new things started happening, not just with marathons, but then with my dad. And each time we were getting ready to kind of wrap it up and do an edit or something like that, something else big would come up and go, well, let's get that. Oh, this would be good. And so we just kept following it along. So what we're going to do now is, it's 2026. We could do one big documentary, but I think the media landscape has changed a lot. And the way that this story came to us is kind of the way we want to lay this out for everybody, which is we can dig in a little bit more. We can let it breathe a little bit more. We can bring more people in that really meant a lot to this whole process and speak to them and give them a little bit more time. So the way we can do that is we will do documentary episodes released on YouTube, and then we will have a companion podcast episodes like this. So this is the intro, but mainly what you'll see from here is that video. And then we'll talk a little bit about, maybe what got us there, what was important about this, what are the themes about that video, or what are some of the important people in those types of videos. So we can go a little bit deeper with the podcast along with those videos. Of course, on socials, those will be that, we can day-to-day live in those type of things, but people will be able to listen to this. And Mike, I think you can talk a little bit about this too. Is like, it's not just about certainly running. It's not just about a father and son, but it's also about some of that filmmaking process and what it is to be, to set out on doing something like this.
Right. I mean, it's, the documentary is its own thing, and this podcast is a response to that. And it will certainly cover Parkinson's disease. It'll cover marathon running. It'll cover father-son relationships. It'll also cover the technical process of what we did and how we did it, and getting into that independent filmmaking experience and what that entailed. Yeah, fun stuff, hard stuff, crowdfunding. We'll get into that a little bit, and then also, on top of, we'll have the video documentaries, but and the recaps of said video documentaries, but we'll also start to bring in people we've worked with and met and who've been a part of the documentary, or people related to Parkinson's, filmmaking, all the things that we cover, to interview them, and just, again, adding more depth and layers to this experience. And instead of presenting this as a documentary, it's an interactive documentary that is kind of evolving through the course of the podcast, and will the trajectory will be altered probably by these podcasts, because we'll be editing them and releasing them on a regular basis. And you'll see the result of
what
that.
we've found over time is, though this one story was about me and my dad and his battle with Parkinson's, it really connected with people in a way that sometimes surprised us, because it's not just for that, but it's about navigating relationships. Like I said at the start of this, how important time is. This documentary and having the camera in hand and wanting to get these type of things allowed me, or I guess, prompted me, pushed me into asking questions maybe that I wouldn't have asked. My dad, not only my dad, but my mom, family members of his. And I think people, as we've seen this whole process, as we've had different, people who've worked camera or medical professionals, these things come along with us. They've connected in their own ways, even though their family or friends may not have Parkinson's or may not have gone through this. Certainly runners connect with this. I'm really excited to kind of jump into this, to get a little bit more technical. So the documentary episodes are going to be on YouTube at Run4Ben, Run, the number 4, Ben. It'll be accompanied with those video podcasts like you're seeing right now. You'll see the videos on YouTube as well. And then, of course, the audio. If you want to listen to your podcast while you're driving or something, you can listen on wherever you get your podcasts at. You can also check us out on social media at Run the number 4 Ben on all the socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Certainly our Instagram and Facebook are probably the longest running. So if you want to do a little catch up before the next episode, you can start to see kind of the things that we've went through just on our social media at Run4Ben. And then we also have our website at run4ben.com. There's some blog posts on there, some things about the Kirk Gibson Foundation, which you'll learn more about, as well as some of the other people who've come along, partnered with us on this and the marathon. So that's how you can consume this. I would suggest going there, subscribing to those, and I think you hit a little bell or something on there to be notified when this stuff comes out. That's if you'd like to follow along, and certainly share this. If it's making an impact or you're excited about it, share it with people and let them know that's going on there. And as we go along, we will have listener questions. If you have any reflections about what you're seeing, about what you're hearing, thoughts on it, maybe somebody we should talk to that we maybe are unaware of, or something that you think is important for us to touch on. That's the cool part about this, is this gets to live and breathe as we bring this out as well. Obviously, we're going to be talking about, I don't know if it's obvious, but we're going to be talking about health and Parkinson's, but we are not medical professionals. We may have some on, but I would just encourage you to consult, medical professionals, trusted medical providers with any questions that you would have. I'm not in a place to answer any of those. I can tell you experience, but I don't have Parkinson's. I'm a caregiver, and this is not a medical professionals podcast by any means.
Absolutely. And all of the stuff we've touched on will be available in the show notes. So if you want to look, you can see where different links are. And if you want to reach out to us, you could certainly do that, whether it's on YouTube comments or anywhere, or on the website, Run4Ben. There is a contact option there, and you could send us a message. And we look forward to hearing from everybody. Again, this is an interactive documentary, and everybody involved will have their fingerprints on it. So we encourage that. It's kind of the communal experience of filmmaking in a different way. And we want to, kind of tell this story over an amount of time that is not determined yet, because there is so much to tell. There's so much footage. There's terabytes.
We got a lot of recordings of 6 years, and I'm not light on talking, as you may have already picked up. We'll try to edit that down, though. We'll edit it down. So this is Run4Ben, and even though we're 6 years into the filming, this is just the beginning of bringing it to you. So we're excited about that.
Yes. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
See y'all out there.